Episode of Real Talks. I am Martha DaCosta Sherwood, your transformational empowerment coach. This week, we are talking about the difference between being busy and productive. In our Real Talk, we will be having candid discussions about smashing glass ceilings, breaking silences, and challenging social norms. So, to start, being busy. So, modern day world, and one of the things that we are always saying is that we have this constant demand for being busy. So, we require people, or there's an expectation that you are constantly available. You respond to emails instantly, no matter what the time of day it is. You get tasks completed in record time. It's this immediacy effect that we have. And when we try to go in to understand this idea, I guess it's wrapped up in a few of the things that we have spoken about before. Things such as that whole mantra about working hard. So that idea that you're busy, you're working hard. It's wrapped up in that. It's wrapped up in around that as well. It's wrapped up in the idea that if you are being busy, then you are, dedicated, showing commitment, and everything else that's wrapped up in that. So you have that fear and worry that if you aren't seen to be being busy, then you may not be effective or committed to your role. Wrapped up also in a big one, which we often kind of struggle with, is perfectionism. So the idea you get busy because you are trying to perfect things. So there's lots of areas and different things that this busy lifestyle is wrapped up in, and it's kind of just become the norm. We've taken it on as though it's acceptable. That's what we'll be doing. And yeah, that's not acceptable, really, though, is it? It really isn't the way forward, being busy all the time. We know how that feels. It doesn't feel comfortable at all. So we're going to be looking at what can we do to not be being so busy. So do you recognize when you are busy? Do you recognize when you're rushed off your feet? So I'm going to talk about, there's about 4 key things that how busy manifests. So there's 4 key areas. So when we are busy, we are in this mode of being frantic. That feeling like, what's going on? I haven't got time to do anything or go anywhere or anything like that. That's being busy. Okay. The opposite of that, however, is being focused. And focused is cool, calm, collected. It's slower and it's more deliberate. And we want to be more focused than we want to be frantic. So what often causes us to be frantic? One of the biggest things around this whole idea of being busy is time. That's what it is. That franticness is urgency, immediacy, because there isn't enough time to do all the tasks that we've got. Okay. And it's the same thing, but it's a double-edged sword, or it's this idea that we need to do something now, and it's important, it's urgent, and if we need to, and that now means we need to do it at some pace and some haste. So that's the other side of it. Another one about when we are busy, and I've said this, is about perfectionism. And why that happens often is because we're trying to perfect things, we end up spending an additional amount of time, often unnecessary time, trying to work on a task. So if we spend more time than necessary on multiple different areas because we are trying to perfect them, then that means we are definitely not going to have enough time to do everything that we need to do. And then that's what ends up putting us into that frantic state, because now we don't have time. So instead of focusing on trying to perfect things, focus on the purpose of whatever it is that you are doing. Right? So if you have a presentation to give at work or something like that, What is the message that you are trying to convey? That is the most important task. You need to ensure that your presentation is delivering the message across that you are trying to send. Of course, you don't want to look juvenile, unprofessional, or anything like that. So the presentation is going to be a little bit important, but you don't need to be spending unnecessary time fixing fonts and backgrounds and searching for pictures and just going down a hole where often we might go, and I'm guilty. So my hole is searching for pictures. So I'll have a picture in my head if I'm presenting something and I want to use a picture or a demonstration. I get that picture in my head, and then I'm going to Google and I'm searching for the picture that's in my head, and we all know that's not possible. And so you end up on page 2 and page 3, and before you know it, you spent 20 minutes trying to get a picture. Now, if we evaluate that, was that worth it? The message and that I'm trying to get across in that presentation with that image, is it worth 20 minutes of time? I highly doubt it. So we don't want to get into that process because it limits our time. Mentioned again, the third area, working hard rather than working smart. And I spoke about the difference between the two of this and why it's really important that we work smart in last week's session. So you can have a look at that. But again, that is working hard. So just slogging along, doing your work, maybe not even the most productive time, isn't a useful use of your time. You need to work smarter. And there are various different ways. But for example, again, I'm going to say I'm more of a morning person. So if I was to prepare a presentation and I was doing it in the morning, it might take me the hour to prepare the presentation in the morning. And therefore, if I was to actually do that later on in the evening, after I've had a long day, my brain is tired and I'm a little bit more tired, that same presentation might take me an hour and a half or 2 hours. And so that means I'm using more time to do something I could have got done earlier in the morning. And that's not a useful time. I'm working hard, aren't I? Definitely working hard. I've spent 2 hours doing it. You can't say I'm not hardworking. But was that beneficial? If in fact, rather than completing one presentation in the 2 hours in the evening, I could have potentially got something else done. Or maybe, how about I just don't do any work in the evening anyway, because it's taking longer, and I try to make sure I utilize my time in the middle of the day, when that first thing in the morning. I mean, let's be honest, okay? Think about it. When you go to work in the morning, if you're working, I'm working from home still. So, or even if it's, you're working from home, your morning routine, what is that like? Be honest. How much of that time do you think you end up wasting? So if you get into work early, do you maybe end up talking to your colleagues at the coffee machine a little bit longer than you were supposed to? I'm not saying don't socialize, of course, but you came in early to get some work done and you spent 20 minutes at the coffee machine, Or if you're working from home and you've got up and you're ready to work and you've got distracted because we've ended up washing up or putting the laundry on or just, tidying up or any other distraction. All of those things, okay, is not us working smart, but it's hard work. And that puts us into that place. So now we woke up early, or we got to work early, or we started early to get something done. We would have had something in mind, and now we haven't got that time. So it now means we need to cram that into the rest of our day. That's definitely going to put you into a state of feeling busy and ending up in that kind of frantic space, and you don't really want that. And then the final one is trying to be good at everything, because that multitasking and the truth of it, and I'm going to do something on this, but the truth of it is there's no such thing as multitasking. We do not do two things at once to the same level of efficiency and effectiveness. Okay, so you might be doing those two tasks, but definitely your concentration and your focus is going to be on one more than the other. And also to a detriment, you're doing 50% hair and you're 50% hair. So those two jobs get 50% rather than 100% and could end up taking you more time. And potentially also, we all have our unique strengths. And so I wrote a blog piece talking about being the jack of all trades and a master of all none, and why it may not be that simple. It may not be that simple. So we might have a vast range of skills. This is very true. We might have a vast range of skills, but there is still a limit to what we can do. And often, I believe, we probably get caught up doing everything, not delegating. And particularly that idea, we have that process where I don't want somebody else to do it because I don't like the way they do it. Or, we really want to have ownership over something, so we won't give it away to someone else. When the reality of it is we should be focusing on the task. So if you're thinking back to purpose, we should be focusing on the tasks and the activities that build our strengths. One of the key things about really good leaders, and the people who are really effective, they know their strengths and they continue to develop them and utilize them because they're strong in them anyway. And the likelihood means that they're going to be able to do those effectively, efficiently, and they get other people to do the areas that they are weak on. That's what it is. It's not about trying to be great at everything else. It's about knowing your strengths and knowing your limitations. Okay. And yes, there's an area to develop in certain places, but it's a limitation. It's very unlikely that it's going to get to the level of the key strength. So it's about allowing other people to do those areas for you because that's their strength. And so what ends up happening is if we have an activity or task to do, because this is your area of strength, you get that completed in record time and it's good quality. And the parts of the task or the project that are not your strength, that would have taken you 3 hours, where an expert could have done it in 1 hour, you get the expert to do it in the 1 hour. So everybody has more time at the end of it, rather than being unnecessarily busy. So they are the kind of 4 key areas where we need to understand the difference between being busy and productive, but most importantly, understanding how we contribute to that. So franticness is all about of how we are using our time and what we're focusing on. This time thing about doing everything rather than being focused. Okay. Being busy filled with that perfectionism, and this idea, we say it, but done is better than best. Okay, so get it done. We always look back on things and think, oh gosh, that could have been better, and then you improve it the next time. But doing something is better than it being delayed so long. Working smart rather than working unnecessarily hard, thinking about that, and making sure we are working to our strengths, which I guess is kind of like working smart, but working to our strengths and having an ability to delegate. And those things are really important because particularly now in our society where where the ways that we are working, and that meaning the convenience of things such as mobile phones and the technology, that there's so much greater access to us, we really need to be ensuring that we are keeping ourselves healthy and we are not enduring unnecessary stress because we are caught up in this kind of fast-paced lifestyle. And as a Londoner, and people from a big city, we know that's one of the key things that you notice, So when we are on the tubes or you think about rush hour, literally it's a rush. That. Rush hour should not be your life. You should not be feeling like that. It's your life. I'm telling you, you will be more effective if you take the time to slow down and prioritize. So one of the key things we need to think about when we're dealing with being busy, it's about time and priorities. We need to be realistic. Okay, how much task can you really get done in a short amount of time? How much task can you get done in that time? And you need to be weighing in a realistic amount of time in terms of a work-life balance. And again, I spoke about this on the the hard work live. The way we see success, there's an element involved in that, that's about sacrificing everything. And I think we need to find a more healthy balance between that. I mean, what's the loss if it takes you a couple of more years to reach this pinnacle stage if you're able to maintain healthy relationships, have a life, and do things? You know, there's things happen, but we need to start thinking about success in terms of doing healthy things and being busy 24/7. Well, in my opinion, anyway, that busyness 24/7 and having no time off. So you're busy all the time, and you don't even have the benefit of, okay, I'm trying to be busy because I'm cramming everything in a day, and then it means in the evening I'm going to have time for my friends and my family or myself. No, you're continuing it into that space. So this rush and this busyness, and as though you need to be working hard and doing it all the time in order to be successful, it's not healthy. We need to really look at the time that we have and chunk this time out and decide what we're going to do and put you first in that schedule. Put the you time, and that you means you for yourself, you for your friends, you for your family. We really need to be breaking that down through this time, because that's what makes us feel busy. And putting yourself first means you're identifying your priorities. What are the most important things that I need to be doing? So in your schedule, if you schedule it by a week, what are the most important things that I need to be doing? And you are number one. So definitely schedule you in there first, some time in there, so that when we are busy and it's frantic and you're doing all that stuff, you don't get to a week and then 2 weeks and 3 weeks and a month where you feel so exhausted and you feel like I haven't even had any time for myself and I'm so busy and I've got so much more things to do. So schedule you in that first. Okay, and take the time to do that, and then focus on your priorities. Think about priorities. What is important? What is the purpose of what I'm trying to do? How does it fit into where I'm going? They are the tasks that you should be prioritizing. They are the tasks that you should be doing first. They are the tasks that you should be putting your energy into, not any and everything. And because often the busyness, we end up doing menial tasks that are not actually moving us towards anything that's of purpose, anything that's of meaning. And then when we fill our most productive time with unnecessary tasks, we are then left in genuine positions where it's a real urgency, because I have something that is genuinely important to do and I have a limited amount of time, and it means I have to bring it home or I have to stay up late, and etc. And that's on us. That part is on us, because we are not utilizing our time accordingly. So don't get caught up with this whole idea. Other people's poor planning and preparation is not your emergency. Okay? Somebody else who's in frantic mode and hasn't foresawn something and now is bringing that to your attention and pretty much saying to you, you need to drop what you're doing and now prioritize my thing. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And you need to hold your boundaries and making sure that you are prepared and planned ahead so you can do those important tasks, so they don't become tasks that you firefight, and you let anybody else around you that you're working with understand that that's how you also work. So if you want me to do something, give me notice so that it reduces the amount of external additional pressures that are put on top of you. Because this is about identifying what you can control, and the part that in the lunacy that we've currently got to in the world, where we're saying we're constantly on and we should be constantly accessible, and all our time we should be doing something. Okay, you don't have to transcribe to that. And that's one of the things why I'm saying this is about breaking and challenging societal norms. Just because it was the way things have always been done doesn't mean it's in the best interest, and it doesn't mean that you have to follow it. And you don't have to challenge it in a confrontational way. So I'm not even saying that you need to be confrontational, but I guarantee you, if you set up your schedule and hold your boundaries, you will start showing people how they work with you and communicate with you, so that you can start reducing the external pressures that come with trying to feel busy, and then focus. And then because you are in a place, you're going to be focused on purpose, working smart to your strengths, you are also going to limit the amount that you feel that busyness. And most importantly, okay, if you are working to your prime at the optimal time and you're further utilizing tools and technologies and processes and teamwork and everything else because you are working smart, then you are going to be exceptionally productive. And that is definitely going to catapult your performance. So I really want you to take a moment and think about it. The things that we discuss here and we talk about we're challenging things that are solid held beliefs, often by society and the way things are done within our organizations. Okay. And so I know you might be thinking, yes, Martha, you say all of that. Sounds excellent, sounds amazing, but that's just not reality. And the truth is, it's not reality if you don't make it become reality. Because you are in control. The actions that you take and the decisions that you make, okay, the actions that you take and the decisions that you make, they direct your life. They direct them. Yes, there are external influences, but you are responding to them. And that's when you become responsible. So don't just get caught up and walk through this system blindly accepting everything. You don't have to do that. You can take control. And as I said, it doesn't have to be a confrontation, but it will be uncomfortable. What I can say for you is it's not just going to be nicey, it will be uncomfortable because change and growth happens outside our comfort zone. And if we are spending our time trying to maintain being comfortable, we're going to stay where we are. So all these things that I'm going to be talking about and saying, they're not going to be easy in terms of comfortability, but you just take small steps and you'll see a big difference. So I do really hope that has been useful for you today, because I want you to really think, do you want for the rest of your time to be living your life in firefighting mode? Is that what you really want? Because if you don't, it's your responsibility and it's in your hands to take the steps that are required so that you can live a more calm, relaxed, productive, and purposeful life. So thank you very much. I'm Martha DaCosta Sherwood, and this has been Real Talks Live. Thank you.